Hello, my name is Levent, and this is my ultimate guide to the miser's dream, a classic effect in which a magician reaches into the air and produces coin after coin. Now, we're going to start off this video by explaining the equipment required for this effect. Then I'll show you a broad history of the effect, and we'll complete this video with an explanation of my personal miser's dream routine. So please stand by as we get into the equipment needed for this classic magic trick. Since the miser's dream is essentially a stage magic trick, it is important that the coins are visible to the audience. Therefore, it is important to use a relatively large coin. Now, we're going to show you some of these coins here and review some of your choices in the modern world. It is common for magicians to use a coin such as a $50. These are okay to handle, but I think they're a little bit too small for a stage performer. I prefer to use a silver dollar, in this case an Eisenhower dollar. The thing is, though, when we say silver dollar, remember silver dollar has been around for well over 100 years, and you can use these vintage antique silver dollars, but they're a little bit too rich for my blood. I prefer to use a silver dollar because they essentially cost $1. Now, you can use other coins. For instance, if you like the $50 size coin, you can use an English penny, the old English penny. My friend Paul Patassa uses the English penny, except he polishes it up quite a bit to give it a gold appearance. You can use these Mardi Gras tokens, but I do not suggest using these lightweight tokens because they don't make enough noise when the coins are dropped into the bucket, and that's a very important component of the trick, is the noise, that the amount of sound that the coin makes. Now, my friend Norm Nielsen makes some wonderful palming coins about this size. They're about the size of a silver dollar. Actually, they're a hair bigger than the silver dollar. They have some nice milling. They're a little bit thin. Now, they don't make as much noise when they dropped into the bucket, but they certainly do make a brilliant appearance on stage. Now, in a moment, also you can use other coins, such as I found these coins years ago. These little coins when I was working in Atlantic City maybe 20 years ago. I had a stack of these. The problem is, when you get to a coin about this size, it just doesn't appear to be a real coin anymore. It gets cartoonish. A same could be said for jumbo coins. They just don't appear correct. You can use it sometimes, maybe as a gag, but it just kind of ruins the trick when it's not so much about money, but a giant fake money like this. Magicians have also used flat metallic discs in the past. I would avoid this because they just don't appear right. You need the milling, you need the decoration on the coins. Now, also, you can also use casino tokens. I've used these casino tokens. They're about $1. They're about the size of a silver dollar. And they work well on stage. But for the most part, I prefer to use these Eisenhower coins. Next, we're going to show you how to prepare these coins in a special manner to make the effect easier to use or easier to do. As for me, I found it very, very difficult to manipulate these silver coins, these silver dollars, because my hands are just way too dry. Just couldn't make it work for me. So I found a wonderful tip in a book from 1981 called Ron McMillan's Modern Art of Coin Manipulation by Walt Lees. And in that book, Mr. McMillan had his coins cut with grooves. And I'll take a close-up look at this right now. As you can see, this is an ordinary silver dollar, and this is one with grooves cut into the edge, as described in Ron McMillan's book. Now, I'm going to tell you how to make a coin with these kind of grooves. Now, as described in the Ron McMillan Walt Lees book here, the method to cutting a groove or serration on these coins is simple. You take the coins, you put them on a metal vise, and you get a hacksaw, and you cut a notch into the coin, and then you cut another notch, and then you keep rotating the coin in the hacksaw. And I started to do this, and after about 10 minutes I realized that I'd be working all week to do a stack of coins like this. So I'll use something a little bit simpler. First off, I use a device known as a Dremel tool. It's a little high-speed rotating drill, and it has a cutting blade on it. And I hold a coin on a vice grip pliers, and I wear protective eye gear. And this is very important. Anytime you use any sort of device like this, you only have 2 eyes. Remember to use eye protection. And let me show you how I do this. the electric cutting tool is turned on and held in the left hand, while the right hand holds a pair of pliers and cuts grooves into the coin. And once about 5 or 6 grooves are placed in, the coin is opened up and then rotated so that you can continue adding more and more grooves and keep rotating the coins. Now once you have this, you're going to have a lot of burrs on the side of the coin. And I'm going to show you next how you get rid of the burrs and polish up the coin. Now before we show you how to take the burrs down, or the little sharp spots down, after you cut the grooves or serrations in the edge of the coin, let me explain a little something. The great T. Nelson Downs, probably the greatest performer of the Miser's Dream, T. Nelson Downs used to use little half-dollar size palming coins. Half-dollar size palming coins that were made by the Rotterberg Magic Company in Chicago. And he wanted the coins to rub up against each other without making too much noise and to be very slippery, to slide very smoothly. So he used to take the coins and he used to rub them on a material back then was called carborundum. Now it would be like sandpaper or emery board. And you put a coin on the emery board and you'd rub the coin like this to get the coin so it's flat, so it doesn't make as much noise. Now, I'm going to give you an example. These are 2 unprepared silver dollars. And these are 2 prepared silver dollars, and they make quite a bit less noise. That's 1. I don't know if you could pick that up in the microphone, but it is quite a bit less noise. So, now, instead of using this carborundum or emery board or sandpaper, I discovered that it was much easier to use modern technology, and you could do this much faster. First, you wear your eye protection. Anytime you have any power tool, eye protection. Take a pair of vice grip pliers. Hold the coin in this way, so it's flat, the coin is flat, and then you take an electric sander. You turn on the sander, and after just a couple of seconds, the coin is flat. You flatten down the high spots, and it makes a lot less noise. And this is what I use for a lot of my coins. Now, the important thing to remember is that sometimes there are some sleights in which, some coin sleights in which you want to hold a handful of coins, get a handful here, hold them in your hand like this, and produce them like this. But listen to the sound it makes. It makes too much noise. So some magicians in the past have used things as like just plain steel, sort of like steel discs. Unfortunately, they look too much mirror-ish for me. So this is my solution for this. Now, these are 4, 1, 2, 3 silver dollars. Now listen to the sound this makes. No sound. It's silent. And the reason is because I've prepared these coins in a very special manner. And this is something that I discovered a few years back. What I did was I took some packaging tape, like this, and take the packaging tape. I lay it over one surface of the coin, plastic packaging tape. I put it over one side of the coin. In this case, I just put it over the back of the coin, not the head side, but the tails. And once that tape is on there, I trim it down with a pair of scissors. Keep trimming it down. I do as neat a job as I can do, although in this case I'm rushing through it. So now remember, the plastic is only on the back side and not on the front side. And here are several other coins, and they all have plastic on the back. So a metal surface, which is the face, touches the plastic surface, which is the back. A metal surface, which is the face, the plastic surface, which is the head, tails of the coin. So heads, metal, tails, plastic. And when you stack them up, they don't make any noise. They're silent. And if you want to use them for a production where you push them out in your fingertip, they do not make noise. However, if they're dropped in a bucket or container, listen, they still make plenty of noise. This is because the coins fall on their edges. They do not fall on the plastic surface. So this is my little tip with the coins. But there's something else that you can do with the coins, which we'll show you in a moment. This sometimes comes in handy and that is to drill a hole through the center of the coin, very tiny holes through the center of the coins. And this has to do with certain kind of holders. And in order to do this, it's actually kind of tricky to make a hole through a center of a circle. So what I do is I actually built a jig. I have a drill press, and I actually stamped this jig out maybe in about 10 minutes out of scrap wood. I didn't even cut the wood. I just had bits of scrap wood laying out, and I took a piece of wood, drew some concentric circles in it, and then put a little V shape there so that it gave me something to push the coin up against. And then the coin is held by a C-clamp, and this whole unit is held in the drill press, and I can get a consistent hole through the center there. But making something like this makes it a lot easier to make a perfect hole through the center of a coin. For the children's performer, some people suggest that you should use quarters, because children have rarely seen silver dollars or half dollars. But these sort of coins, quarters, are acceptable to children. I guess you can use some euro coins or pound coins if you're in the UK. I don't agree with the idea of using small coins, because I think at least the main coin should be seen at the fingertips. But if you insist, you can use quarters. Just the thing is that they don't make quite enough noise, in my opinion, for the trick. But this quarter here makes a lot more noise. Now, it's hard to tell on the microphone here in the studio, but trust me, it makes a lot more noise. And how you can make a quarter make more noise is this. The idea is this. Later on, you'll see in my routine, my own personal Miser's Dream routine, I take advantage of this concept, but I had wondered, why does a quarter make less noise than, say, a silver dollar? And it has nothing to do with the metallurgy or the shape, but it has to do with mass, the weight. So, if you want to use quarters, here's a little idea of mine. If you want quarters to sound louder in the pail or in the bucket, what you do is, instead of you dropping one coin, I glue quarters together. You can use some crazy glue, and you just glue two quarters together, sandwiched together, and they make a lot more noise because they're a lot heavier. So it's just my little tip. Now, you can't palm as many quarters, but if you insist on doing the trick with quarters and you want the bucket to be heard or the pail to be heard, use my idea of gluing 2 or 3 quarters together so that they're heavier. This next idea comes to us from the April 1966 issue of Genie magazine in the Lloyd column, and it's from the mind of a very clever magician by the name of Abe Cantu. Now, Cantu was actually a dove magician before Channing Pollock was a dove magician. He used to wear Mexican garb, and he would produce a dove after the end of every magic routine. And as the dove appeared, the big band would play a song by the name of La Paloma, which was very popular soon back then, which La Paloma, of course, means Spanish for the word the dove. And when he did the Miser's Dream, Cantu had this idea of painting the backs of each one of his coins in flesh color. And this helped hide the coins while palming them. Now, later on we'll get to how exactly he used these coins, but I just want to tell you that this is actually not flesh-colored paint. This is actually what I call a palmouflage. If you read my book, Roy Benson by Starlight, or seen my video on the salt pour, you'll see that I love this idea of making a camouflage material, which is bright and dark, and 3 tones of flesh instead of just a single flesh color. In this case, I just scanned my hand, did this little job in Photoshop, and made little sticker paper. And that sticker paper I attached to the backs of each one of the coins and trim to place. So we'll show you how this works in a minute. But one more thing I want to mention about the coins. I showed you half dollars. I have the Norm Nielsen coins which I've used, and certainly the silver dollars which I prefer to use. But you can use any coin that you choose to use from whatever nation you happen to live in. For instance, many times we've been to countries where I've seen large coins, and I bought a whole stack of them for possible future use for the Miser's Dream. For instance, a friend of mine gave me a wonderful coins for the Miser's Dream from the nation of Macau, rather, or the administrative area of Macau now would be called. These coins are a little bit larger than a silver dollar. They sound great. Actually, Bill Grosscup gave this to me, these coins, and they actually have they have pictures of the emperors from the Qing dynasty, the last dynasty of China. And I guess the ends with a funny little picture of the little boy Henry Puyi, the last emperor. But anyway, these coins sound great, and if you have better coins than the Eisenhower coins, please go ahead and use them. And now we come to what is, for me at least, the fun part, which is some gimmicks that are used for the Miser's Dream. The first class of gimmicks that I'll show you is what we call coin droppers or coin holders. Essentially, these are mechanical devices that allow you to have secretly hidden on your body one or more coins so that you could steal them for use during the Miser's Dream productions. This first holder I purchased when I was a small boy from the Flosso's magic shop, Flosso Martinko, Flosso Hornman magic shop in 34th Street, New York. And it's made of wire, just spring wire, bent into this shape. The wire is connected to a safety pin with a little piece of sheet metal, bent tin. And it allows you to place 5 silver dollars, just like this, so that you can go into the edge of your coat, you can pull away 5 coins for production. This is another coin holder from my youth. It's made of stamped, or looks like die-cut brass, folded into this shape, with a little safety pin on top. 4 half dollars fit inside, like this. It sits on the edge of the coat, and your fingers go under the edge of your coat, jacket. It pulls the coins away for palming and for subsequent production. This very clever coin holder was the invention of a gentleman by the name of George Murray, who designed it for Norm Nielsen. And my friend Norm Nielsen manufactures these. It's made of brass, stamped die-cut brass. It holds about 5 Norm coins, and it has a little spring-loaded little bent edge there, bent piece of sheet metal. What happens is the coins are fed in through the top and held by that sheet metal tab. So they're very secure, actually. And here's the safety pin. This is on the edge of the coat. And what's very clever about this design is that your fingers come to the edge of the coat, and when your finger pushes up like this, the coins fall freely into your hand. I'll do that one more time. Just reset it here. Actually, let me do it the proper way. Feed it from the top. Bend this in. And from sideways, fingers come up, and the coins get dropped into the hand like this. This is a very neat little device. It's actually amazing is that actually the price that Norm sells this for currently is about $15. And to tell you the truth, if you tried to do this out of a piece of brass and the paint and all the other work, it would actually end up, the materials would cost you about $15. So it's actually a wonderful little device, well worth its money for a little quick way of dropping 5 Nielsen palming coins or about 2 or 3 silver dollars. In this little packet here, I have a coin holder that I purchased a few years ago. It was about $40. It was originally manufactured in 2002. It's called the Leonardo Silva coin dropper, Silva, S-I-L-V-A. And it actually works pretty well. It holds 4 silver dollars, drops them into your hand silently. It's clever in that it has a little way of attaching a safety pin to your costume, and it has a quick disconnect. So you can disconnect the whole dropper, load it up, and then quickly reconnect it back onto your costume. It's well made. It does what it's supposed to do. Drops 4 silver dollars in your hand relatively quietly. I won't take it out of the package because I don't know this gentleman, and I don't know if he might be mad if I show how this device works. But actually, I don't know if it's even still on the market, but the Silva coin dropper does a pretty good job at dropping 4 silver dollars into your hand. This next coin holder is quite brilliant, really. It was invented in 1849 by a gentleman by the name of Walter Hunt. And before I show it to you, let me explain the price. I think the current pricing is about $30. That's in quantities of over 1,500 of them. In other words, you can buy about 1,500 of these coin holders for about $30. Or probably, I don't know, 100 of them for $1 or something like that. And let me show you what Walter Hunt in 1949 invented. And I'm holding it here at my fingertips. This, my friends, is the safety pin. And in my opinion, if you would have teams and teams of engineers spending billions of dollars to create the perfect coin holder, I think that ultimately what they'd come up with is this, the safety pin. Now how this is used is this is placed under the edge of a coat and pinned into the fabric of the coat about 2 inches above the hem of the jacket. And then what you do is you take some coins, and you say in this case this safety pin holds $50 pretty well. you squeeze in this case, 4 half-dollars, so that they are a little bit below the center line of the half-dollar. In other words, it doesn't go to the center, but it stops so that they rest this way. So about 1/3 of the half-dollar is below the safety pin, and 2/3 is right above it. And this is pinned on the inside edge of your jacket like this. As you can see on my jacket, on the inside right edge, about 2 inches from the hem, is a safety pin. We have 4 half-dollars. The half-dollars are squeezed in on the top of the safety pin like this. And that's it. And that's pretty solid there. Now the jacket can be closed. And to steal the coins, the hand turns the coins upside down. In other words, the hand reaches on the edge of the coat and turns the coins upside down like this. And then the thumb pushes down and pushes the coins out of the safety pin. So remember, 2/3 of the coins are up on the top above the safety pin, but if you turn it upside down, now they get squeezed out. And it works like this. Hand is at the edge of the coat. When you want to get the coins, you just turn it over and you squeeze them out like this, and then you have the coins in your hand. This next holder, which I'm about to show you, actually comes from a book. It's from the 1952 book, It's Easier Than You Think, Volume 2, by Geoffrey Buckingham. And we'll show you some details of its construction in a moment, but first we're going to explain what the idea is. This is a holder that when placed in your costume allows you to secretly drop a load of like 15 or 20 coins into your hand. But remember, you can't drop coins out of a holder into your hand without making an enormous amount of noise. So what Buckingham does is he uses an old technique. Now this old technique appears in print, believe it or not, in 1890 in the Professor Hoffman's book, More Magic. And basically it's an idea in which you take a stack of coins and tie the coins together. And let me show you what this looks like. This is a stack of about 20 half-dollars tied together by thread. Now, how this works is you take 2 half-dollars, and using a hacksaw or using my method with the Dremel tool, you cut a little notch. There's a little notch cut there, notch cut there, notch cut there, and there. So on 4 little notches, okay, so north, south, east, and west, you have these notches. On the other side of the stack, this coin also has 4 notches cut. You lay the coins down on a table and you put a thread underneath, about a 1 foot long piece of thread, and you bring the ends of the thread together and tie a knot on top. Then you cross the knots the opposite way, sort of like wrapping up a package, and you tie a knot here. And this ties all the coins together into a single load. And how you produce the coins from that is now remember, this is a very thin piece of thread. It's using just this plain cotton thread, very lightweight thread. So by pushing the stack, you can break the thread and produce the coins. And as I said, this appears in print in 1890 in Hoffman's book, but in a moment we'll show you how Geoffrey Buckingham used this idea in his holder. This is a Geoffrey Buckingham style coin holder. Now, it's based on an old idea of having a cloth tube under your costume, and this was originally a billiard ball holder. In the old days, magicians used to have cloth tubes with billiard balls placed inside with a little piece of elastic that was sewn around the mouth so the balls could be squeezed out. This kind of tube was actually the invention of the great T. Nelson Downs, the master of the Mice's Dream. But anyway, what Geoffrey Buckingham did was he had this cloth tube without the elastic, but he had a piece of elastic attached to a bulldog clip. And the reason for this is that when the bulldog clip keeps the opening of the holder closed, but when you squeeze open the bulldog clip and let go, the elastic pops the bulldog clip out of the way so it doesn't get tangled up with the coins as they fall out of the bag. Needless to say, this is a big stack of coins. This is about 15 or 16 silver dollars. They are tied together as in the manner from Professor Hoffman's Modern Magic. Professor Hoffman's More Magic. And the coins are placed inside the tube. like so. And the opening of the tube is folded over once. And then the opening is held closed by this bulldog clip. Now this is pinned, this tube is pinned on your trousers. This is too heavy with all these coins. You don't want this hanging on your jacket, otherwise your jacket will be flying around. And when your hand goes in the edge of the coat, it opens this up and it drops the coins into the hand, ready for production. Very, very clever idea, very useful, and really a brilliant, brilliant design by Geoffrey Buckingham. These two coin holders are very easy to make and very inexpensive to produce. They hold one coin apiece. The first holder is constructed by taking the old safety pin and putting a paper clip on the bottom so that you can hang a single coin. The other clip is with a safety pin and using a little alligator clip. Now let me explain the differences between these two holders and what they're used for. I put together these coin holders for a very specific use. It came from an idea that Roy Benson had. Benson believed that you can hide coins on stage or behind a piece of furniture or behind a curtain before your show, so that during the Mice's Dream routine you can vary your technique from just sleight of hand productions to actually showing an empty hand, reaching behind a curtain perhaps, and pulling a coin out. And I put together the old paperclip and safety pin holder because you can hang this anywhere. And since these literally cost pennies a piece, you can leave them there after the show. It doesn't matter. So you can hide this behind, say, a chair, a piece of furniture, behind a musical instrument. It doesn't matter. You reach in and you can produce the coin. The alligator clip is actually a little stronger, and that's if you plan to hide a coin on your costume, say perhaps behind your lapel. It's effective that you can do sleight of hand for the Mice's Dream, and at some point you just reach behind your lapel and you produce a coin. I mean, it's a gimme. It gives you a free coin, and it is quite magical. This next coin holder is from an idea by T. Nelson Downs, and it's right here. It's not necessarily a coin holder per se, but it's actually a stack of silver dollars with a hole drilled through the center. And there's a wire that is threaded through the silver dollars and bent over on the bottom. Now, this isn't really a holder, but it's used to steal a stack of coins, and later on we'll show you how this works. With regard to coin droppers on the costume, the important thing to remember is that it is important that the loaders, the droppers are always placed in the same place, the same position every time. That's why it is often advisable to actually have most of the droppers, or better if they're put on your pants or your trousers rather than your jacket, because as you move on stage, the jacket moves, but the trousers tend to stay where they belong. The other thing to remember is that when you're stealing any object from the body, it is not, you just can't put your hand there and take an object from your costume. The important thing is that it always must be done with misdirection. In other words, if I need to steal coins from this side, I should have another coin palm in this hand, and then at the moment of that production, so when people are watching this hand, watching that production, that's when this hand steals the other load of coins. Or you can have a coin pail and have someone toss a coin in the air, and when you're reaching for it and before, as a sound comes where the coin drops into the bucket, that's when you steal the coin. It's important that all steals in the body are done with misdirection. Otherwise, they just don't work. If you choose to steal a stack of coins from your front trouser pocket during a routine, sometimes you might find that if the pocket is very deep, you'll have a tough time reaching down to the bottom of the pocket. Or sometimes the coins bulge because the pocket is deep. This is my suggestion. If you're wearing a jacket and you can cover the pocket, what you do is you get several safety pins and you short the pocket. By that I mean is you make the pocket short. So now you can put a stack of coins. The safety pins prevent them from going low, so now without a big movement, without having to go deep into the pocket, all you do is you get in there and you can pull the stack of coins out, ready for production. This is my little personal tip on hiding coins in the front pocket. And now we get to what is commonly called a coin catcher. This first device is presumably invented by Harry Keller in the 1800s, and we call it the Keller coin catcher. little metal box. It holds coins, and they are dispensed by means of a spring inside the box that pushes a little brass follower. The coins are slid in one at a time. Now we have several of these coin catchers that we're going to show you during this demonstration. One is the T. Nelson Downs one, and here's another Roterberg type of coin catcher. I'll explain how they all work later on during this video. This next device is a coin catcher. It's a mechanical device that allows you to hold your open hand out like this and produce one coin and drop it into a bucket or container and keep reproducing the same coin over and over with an open hand. Let's take a look at its construction. I do not know who invented this, but I saw it in an old catalog once. And basically, it's a bent piece of tin attached to a piece of wire which is bent into a square, and another piece of tin which is bent into a loop, and that tin is attached to a coin. This is painted flesh colored, so it's hidden in the hand. And just by popping the hand up and down, the coin appears and disappears. Or rather, it appears and it seems to drop into the bucket like this. From the other side, it looks like this. Coin appears, drops into the bucket, reappears, drops into the bucket, appears, drops into the bucket. Now, this doesn't have to be that complex. There have been ideas, for instance, of making a similar device with just a piece of wire, a piece of Scotch tape or adhesive tape. The problem with these kind of catchers is that it just doesn't appear natural. This sort of production just doesn't look right. It looks too mechanical. Now, there was Arthur Buckley, in his great book, Principles and Deceptions, came up with a mechanical catcher that's quite a bit better than these designs. Arthur Buckley's coin catcher, which appeared in his book, as I said, Principles and Deceptions, published in 1948, it appears a little bit nicer. When you make the coin appear, you can hold it between your fingertips like this and then drop it into the bucket. So you can make a coin appear, drop it into the bucket like this. Let's take a look at the construction of Mr. Buckley's device. The Buckley coin catcher, which allows you to make a coin appear like this, works like this. It's simply a piece of bent tin which is stuck to your finger. And through the tin, there's a little hole for a piece of wire to which you attach a coin. So you can hold your fingers apart when the coin appears. You drop it away, coin appears like that. It's actually quite pretty. Now, in his book, Mr. Buckley says, use a shell coin, and he's absolutely correct. If you've made one of these, you'll know that if the coin gets too heavy, the whole unit wants to fall off your hand. But because this is a hollowed out silver dollar, it's very light, and it works pretty well. In some of the old magic books, you'll see this type of coin catcher, which is essentially a coin with a hole drilled through it and a circular loop of monofilament that goes over your thumb. And the coin is held in a thumb palm position and produced like this. Frankly, I don't really see the use to this. It's actually very difficult to use it properly, and the truth be told, you're better off using a sleight of hand method than this sort of gimmick. Next, we're going to show you a great old gimmick from the 1800s. This last device appears in Professor Hoffman's Modern Magic on page 203. This book from 1876 has this fascinating little mechanical device. It's a wand, and at the tip of the wand, when you want, you can make a coin appear. You can take the coin, like this. You can make another coin appear on the tip of the wand. Let's take a look at how this little jewel is constructed. This wand is a hollow brass tube capped off on one end with an opening on the other. Cut through it is a slot, a little device that you push with your thumb. And that by pushing your thumb upwards, a piston moves 3 wires, 3 pieces of spring steel up the wand, and on the end of that, on the end of each one of the wires is soldered 1/3 of a coin, which is cut into 3 parts. And by pulling your thumb in, the coin disappears. You push, the coin appears like this. So for instance, if you were to make a coin appear, you'd have a coin finger palmed, you'd make believe you take the coin away from the wand, show the coin, and then make another coin appear. So from the audience's perspective, you can make a coin appear at the tip of the wand, take it away, and they can make another coin appear. Very pretty, but a little bit crazy when you think about it. And now we get to the containers or receptacles that magicians use for the mice's dream. In the 1800s, it was very common for magicians to borrow a hat from a spectator from the audience and to produce the coins, so you could hear the coins falling into the hat. Now, when magicians started working in large theaters, such as in vaudeville, they needed something that sounded a little bit better. And it took the magician T. Nelson Downs to come up with this. He borrowed a top hat from a spectator, but it was actually a gimmick top hat. It was a stooge. And he had a brass plate, which he had riveted on the inside of the hat, so that when the coins appeared, they made a great deal of noise. Now, sometime in the early 20th century, magicians dropped the top hat because people quit wearing top hats, and they started using metal pails. And I'll show you a variety of metal pails that you can use. You can use a coffee can for the trick. This is actually for rice, but you can use an ordinary coffee can. The thing to remember is that this trick is primarily an audio trick. It's a trick of sound. So it's very important that the spectators hear the noise that the coins make when they drop into the bottom of the bucket. Which reminds me of something that my friend Charles Reynolds told me. When Doug Henning, Charles was Doug Henning's magic consultant at the time, when Doug Henning wanted to do The Mice's Dream, Charles Reynolds took a handful of coins and went to the Bowery in New York, where there was a district where they sold kitchen supplies, and he went to every champagne pail or every wine bucket or every ice bucket, and he just dropped coins into the buckets to see which one made the most amount of noise. And when he found a good sounding pail, that's one that he gave to Doug Henning to use for The Mice's Dream. Now, in here, you can hear the sound of the pail. It sounds pretty good. It's not too bad, but for a big stage, a coffee can is usually not loud enough. It's better for platform magicians, or for, if you do a birthday party or a small club, coffee can is fine. But if you're going to work the big stage, you need to bring out the heavy guns. And I just want to show you, by the way, if you're not working the big stage, you can use certainly a cocktail shaker, which is not too big. It makes a good sound. It makes a pretty good, nice, sharp sound. But if you want to get some real sound, the best bucket that I've ever seen is the Charlie Miller bell bucket. They sold this for many, many years at Magic Incorporated. Since the 1960s they've been selling this. It's a heavy-duty pail. It looks like a utensil container that you can buy at Target or any of Bed Bath & Beyond or any houseware store. But it's unusually thick. I've never seen a little pail as thick and as hard as this, and it has a nice ringing sound. From the back of the house, you can hear the noise that the bell bucket makes. The other important thing is that it has a rim on it, and this rim is important. Henry Hay, in the book Amateur Magician's Handbook, said that it's important for a pail to have a rim because when you place your hand inside, it gives you something for your thumb to get a hold of. Very, very helpful. The other buckets show you is a champagne bucket or champagne pail. This is an old one that my friend John gave this to me. John Schneck gave this to me. And this originally had a little round loop, little handle there. And I removed that and I put this nice little Art Deco style handle. I use this sort of handle for a very special reason, which you'll see at the end of this DVD. But it has a great sound. This pail, nice loud. Boy, you can really hear that. Another pail is this little champagne pail that I purchased a few weeks ago at Target stores. Not bad. It's $15, and it has a good sound. Again, there's nothing wrong with this pail. Roy Benson, however, had an idea using a glass container, which we'll show later on. And now let's show you a couple of gimmicked pails. This is a Fraxen pail, so named because it was invented by the great nightclub era and vaudeville era magician, Jose Fraxen. And on the handles are actually not really handles, but they are Keller type coin catchers, and they hold about 20 half dollars on each side. Later on I'll explain what I know about the fraction pail. There was another pail that was invented, I think in the 1960s probably, by Ross Bertram, the great Canadian magician. And Ross Bertram made a pail in which this type of dropper was actually embedded or hidden on the bottom of the pail. Unfortunately, that actually deadened the sound. The Bertram pail does not make enough noise, because when you drop a coin in a pail, the actual body of the pail acts as a resonator, acts as a bell, and it vibrates and it transmits sound. But by putting a compartment on the bottom, it actually deadens the sound. So the Bertram pail is a great idea, but it doesn't sound good enough for the stage performer. There's another pail, of course. This is the Levent pail. It's covered up, and we're not going to show you this till the very end. One more thing I want to mention is the so-called coin ladder. According to the book of Modern Coin Magic by T. Nelson Downs from 1900, the coin ladder was invented by Robert Heller, and basically it was a mechanical device which had plates of glass. And when you drop the coin would slide from one plate of glass to another, back and forth. And it was a whole complicated routine, but basically the bottom line is, I do not think that coin ladders are especially good for the Miser's Dream, with one exception. The problem is, Roy Benson had a rule. He said, never separate yourself unnecessarily from a magic trick. If you read my book, Roy Benson by Starlight, you'll see that rule is rule number 7. I have, in this book, I have the fundamental rules of stage magic, and rule number 7 is never separate yourself unnecessarily from a magic trick. And in this case, if you have a mechanical Miser's Dream device, a device that coins appear by themselves, basically, it makes the trick, the magic, the apparatus, and not the magician. And the beauty of the Miser's Dream is that it happens in your hands. It's a sleight of hand trick that happens in your hands, and that's really the best part of the effect. It's magic that happens, and you're the magician. By having a big piece of apparatus, it takes away from that. Now, there are exceptions, and one sole exception is my friend Norm Nielsen, who does a spectacular coin ladder, except he does a musical magic act. It actually, and basically with the exception of one move, his whole coin routine is making coins appear at his fingertips. And he just uses the coin ladder as a pretty way to, when he drops the coins, for them to make noise and to have a visual appeal. But Norm is a genius at that stuff. If you are a children's performer, or if you specialize in children's entertainment, it might not make sense for you to have a champagne bucket or a wine pail or a cocktail shaker. So in that case, nothing wrong with using a children's sand pail or decorative pail that you can find in any toy store. This is just a plastic pail, but you should get one made of tin or metal so it has a good sound. But anyway, you could still do the Miser's Dream with a children's pail, and it worked perfectly fine. Next, we'll show you a very clever idea using the design elements of a children's sand pail. This idea with the sand pail comes from Tarbell Course in Magic Volume 7. It's an idea from a wonderful magician by the name of Sol Stone, whom I knew when I was a boy growing up in New York City. And this is Sol Stone's idea with a children's sand pail. It's a very, very clever idea in which you take a coin, you do the Miser's Dream, and it's like that. And how it works is he's holding, the Sol Stone's idea is to hold the coins in your left hand, holding the pail like this. So when you drop the coin in the thumb palm, it's the hand holding the handle which is actually dropping the coin. It's very deceptive. See, a coin goes there, and it just, when this hand comes here is when you drop the coin from the handle. Very clever idea from an extremely nice man, Sol Stone. This next child's coin pail idea comes to us from the 1977 book Clever Like a Fox, written by Carol Fox, who we miss dearly since his passing. And Carol had this idea of taking a child's coin pail like this, and to be able to continue to create the sound of a coin being dropped into the pail, like that. And how it worked was, on the top of the handle there, he attached a piece of thread and a coin, so that the left hand could just grab with the ring finger the thread and then let go, and it makes the noise of the coin hitting the pail, just like that. Or sometimes Carol would take it and just hold the top of the pail with his left hand, and when he took the palm of the coin, he would just bring it up and just pull up the string with his hand. So he would take a coin and he would pull up the string with his right hand and drop it in. This is Carol Fox's thing that he called the BS coin pail, and Carol swears that BS stands for basically simple. So this is a great idea from Carol Fox. We're going to get next, we're going to show you some basic sleight of hand moves that you should know with the coins, and then afterwards we'll get to the history of the Mice's Dream throughout time, starting with Robert Houdin and ending with my version of the trick. So please stand by. Now, the first skill that you should learn with a coin is how to palm a coin. And there's many different palms that are used for the Mice's Dream. And let's start with the very first one, the classic palm. In the classic palm, the coin is pulled to the middle of the palm, and the muscle of the thumb holds the coin in the hand. So the hand appears to be natural, and all the fingers are able to be articulated while the coin is secretly hidden in the palm. This is the classic palm. And now this is the edge palm. The edge palm is in which a coin is held in the palm of the hand at a 45-degree angle from the palm. So now all the fingers could be articulated, but the middle and the ring finger can pull the coin up to the fingertips. That is the edge palm. The edge palm. This next palm is the finger palm. It's where the coins are held at the base of the middle and ring finger, and the hand is held in a natural manner. Now, the finger palm can also be used with something called the Ramsey subtlety. This is from the magician, Scottish magician John Ramsey, had the idea of holding your hand open to the audience so that they don't see the coin hidden in the finger palm. From that, a coin could be produced from a seemingly empty hand. Once again, the coin is held in the base of the middle and ring finger, and it's called the finger palm. The next palm is called the thumb palm. That's a palm in which the coin is held in the fleshy part of the base of the thumb. This palm makes its appearance first time in 1868 in Robert Houdin's book, The Secrets of Conjuring and Magic. And back then it was called the Italian palm. That's the coin is placed into the base of the thumb, just like that. This next palm is called the downs palm. This is where the coin is pulled between the index and middle finger and brought down to the crook of the thumb and then held there, like that. This appears in print for the first time in the year 1909 in T. Nelson Downs' book, The Art of Magic. This is the downs palm. This next palm, which is quite useful for the Mice's Dream, is called the purse palm or the moret palm. This is where the coin is held in a very flat hand. And this is possible by squeezing the coin on one side with the base of the index finger and the ring finger, and it's held up against the middle finger. And this is called the purse palm or the moret palm. This next palm is called the front clip. Coin is held, squeezed between the middle and index finger. It's called the front clip. As long as you've seen the front clip, there's also the back clip. That's how a coin is taken from the front of the hand, held between the thumb and the middle finger. As the index finger comes down, the hand is opened up and shown to be empty, and that is the back clip. The next palm is called the back palm of a coin. Do that again. Coin goes from the front to the back. In tempo, it's performed like this. From the back, it looks like this. The coin is held between the middle and, rather, the index and pinky, small finger, and the other fingers come up behind it. And that's the back palm, from front to back. That is the continuous back and front palm. That's where the coin is placed in the back palm position. As the hand is rotated, the coin is transferred from the front to the back. The continuous back and front palm, which was actually performed expertly by T. Nelson Downs. To reproduce the coin from the back clip when it's at the tip of the fingers like this, it's a simple matter of reaching forward in the air and then bringing the coin down to your thumb and then transferring it to the tip of your finger. So the coin goes from here and it's reproduced like that. From behind, you just go like this and you pull the coin into view. Very simple, very easy to do. A more complex way to produce a coin from the fingertip back clip is to produce it like that. And this is a move from Arthur Buckley. Buckley said you can place the coin behind the fingertip, and when you want to reproduce the coin, you bring the ring finger behind the coin and then twist your fingers like that. So, you go like this, you go like that, and you produce the coin. This is the Arthur Buckley fingertip production. If you've taken a coin and transferred it to the back of the back clip, but very deep in the hand, you might have trouble getting to that coin. My solution is to put the thumb in front of the coin and just to shake your hand, and that shifts the position of the coin. In other words, when you separate your fingers and you shake your hand, now the thumb gets in position with the coin. So the coin is behind the hand. You can shake your hand like that. Now it's ready to be produced because the coin now contacts the thumb. This next production I'm about to show you from a deep back clip is very, very clever. It's by Arthur Buckley. The Arthur Buckley coin production from the deep back clip looks like this. And how it works is the coin is held behind the fingers and it is thrown and flips over the index finger. So if the coin is here, the hand jerks up and the coin rotates around the thumb and is caught in the index finger. That's the Arthur Buckley production from the deep back clip, like that. And now, let's look at some coin productions from palms. Coin can be placed in the classic palm and then dropped to the fingertips and produced. Coin is in the classic palm, dropped to the fingertips and produced. Another very effective coin production from the classic palm is the Alan Shaw coin production. Looks like that. This is developed by the vaudeville magician Alan Shaw. What happens is the coin is thrown up to the fingertips as the hand comes down. So it looks like the coin is plucked from the air, like that. Now the one tip I can give you for this production is to learn how to do it with your eyes closed. For instance, if you can do it with your eyes closed, you'll never have a problem. Watch, eyes closed, coin production. That's very important because when you perform the Alan Shaw coin production, you're not looking at the coin in your hand, you're looking at the area in the air from where the coin is produced. You produce the coin from the air. You don't look at the hand, and that's the one tip I can give you with the Alan Shaw coin production. From the thumb palm, coin can be produced at the fingertips. This is done by reaching with your middle finger on the front of the coin and the index finger behind the coin and producing it at the fingertips. So from thumb palm you can have the coin and produce it like that. Bear in mind, from the thumb palm, coin can also be shifted to the classic palm and you can do the Alan Shaw coin production or any other coin production you desire. Remember, coins can go from your middle index, from your finger palm, could go to your classic palm and go to a thumb palm, and these coins could constantly be shifted depending on what kind of magic you're performing. This next coin production was invented by Arthur Buckley, and as far as I know, it is unpublished. In a minute, we'll show you how this works. The Buckley coin production starts from the thumb palm position, and the coin appears in between the thumb and the index finger, like that. I'll show it to you from the other side. Coin is thumb palm and reappears in the fingertips. And then it is seemingly dumped into the hat, but it's thumb palmed in just like that. We'll show it to you slow how it works. Thumb is here. Middle finger goes underneath the coin. Coin is balanced under the middle finger. the index finger and thumb pick up the coin and show it. Just like that. So pick it up like that. I'll do it slow. Like that. Very, very clever. The Arthur Buckley coin production. The downs palm, coin could be produced 3 different ways. Coin could be produced that way. So the hand is here, this way. It could be produced that way, or the coin could be produced that way. And this is the key differences. The first way, the middle finger goes underneath the coin, the index finger comes on top, the coin is pulled to the fingertips and the fingers are twisted. So the fingers are like crossed like that. And by doing that, the coin appears at the fingertips. So your hand is here, you produce the coin at the fingertips. The second method is to produce the coin like that, which is to say you pull the coins to your fingertips with your thumb at the edge, and then you pop the coin up with your thumb. From the side it looks like this. The coins are pulled to the fingertip, thumb pushes up like that. And at tempo it looks like this. And the third method of production for the downs palm is to produce the coin like that. And what that is that when the coins are brought to the fingertips, the thumb pushes the coin between the index and middle finger, and pushes it to the back of the hand. Then the index finger moves back and pushes the coin up into view. So there's sort of a get ready to it and then a production. One of my ideas for the T. Nelson downs palm was as follows. You can vanish a coin, show both sides of your hand, and then reproduce it. Let me show you how this works. Instead of doing the downs palm deep into the hand, I just bring it to the fingertip, to the tip of the thumb, so the coin is not held here, but it's held in fact here. So now when I turn my hand around, I shift my thumb to help block the coin, and I show this side of my hand. Of course, the coin is pinched between the index and the middle finger. Now when I turn the hand around, I simply push the coin between the finger like this. So now when I want to reproduce the coin, I just move my index finger back and then push the coin forward. So I can show this side, and then produce it like that. This I've been doing since I was a small boy. This is the coin production from the back palm. Hand is open, thumb is up, a coin is produced in the air like this. In slow motion, the thumb comes to the front, the coin is pulled this way. Now, you can also produce it without the thumb. You can just do that. But truth be told, it is more effective with your thumb, because it looks as though you're plucking a coin from the air, which is exactly what you want the illusion to be. From the edge palm, a coin is produced by taking the ring finger underneath the coin and the middle finger above the coin and bringing it to the fingertips. So, from the edge palm, the coin is produced in the air like this. Do that again. Now let's show you these palms in which multiple coins are used. For instance, in the classic palm, a coin is placed in the palm of the hand, and another coin is placed alongside, and another coin, allowing for multiple classic palm. Multiple coins can also be placed into the downs palm. For instance, one coin goes into the downs palm, the second coin is added to that coin, next coin is added to that coin. And we'll show it to you from this angle. First coin is placed in the downs position, second coin is placed underneath that coin into the downs position, next coin is placed underneath into the downs position. Multiple downs palm. In this case, 3 coins are held in the downs palm. And the coins can be produced one at a time, like that. We're going to take a look at this one more time. The index finger stays and points forward and comes back a little bit. And the middle finger goes underneath and pulls the coin off the bottom. So I'll try that again. Pulls the coin off the bottom and holds it between the index and middle finger, and the thumb comes up and produces a coin. It repeats the same action. In other words, the coin is being slid off the bottom of the stack. This way, it's slid off the bottom of the stack, held at the fingertips, and one after the other, the coins appear. Bear in mind, with a little bit of flashy hand movement, you can show both sides of your hand with the downs palm. But it is a little tricky. You have to do that. And it's a little tough to do without flashing, but it can be done by putting the thumb and the fingers together and then rotating the hand quickly, like in this sort of fashion. It's hard to keep it from flashing, but it can be done. Multiple coins can also be placed into the back palm, but beware, with multiple back palms, the coins do make a lot of noise, so this is something that you should only do if you have a loud music being played in a show. 1 coin, 2 coin, 3 coin, 4 coin, into the back palm position. I'll show it to you from the front, or rather from the other side. It looks like this. 1 coin goes into the back palm, 2nd coin is placed into the back palm, 3rd coin into the back palm, next coin into the back palm. Multiple back palm vanish. With the edge palm, you can also do a multiple coin vanish. 1 coin after the other is placed into the edge palm. Now if you have multiple coins, they can be placed into the edge palm and produced at the fingertips one after the other, like this. The fingertips. Now, to make it it's sometimes easier to produce it instead of the middle and the ring finger, to use the index finger and the middle finger. Like that. It's multiple coin productions from the edge palm. This is T. Nelson Downs' elusive pass. The coins could disappear and then reappear in the other hand in a fan. Now how the elusive pass works is from behind, the hand is placed in, cupped over the right hand, and the coins are transferred into an edge palm. When the hand is shown empty, these coins are then brought to the fingertips and fanned out for reproduction. The elusive pass. This here is T. Nelson Downs' top of the fist coin production. The method that Downs uses for the top of the fist coin production works like this. Stack of coins is back palmed. In order to hide the fact that the coins can be seen between the edges of the fingers, Downs commonly did this, just hiding the fingertips there. Now, when he brought his hand in, he pulled 1 coin up and brought it to the edge, to the top of the fist. 1 coin up to the top of the fist, and then he's always maintained control of those coins so that he could do a back palm. 1 coin up to the top of the fist. And then, of course, whoops, let me do this correctly. Then you do 1 coin to the top of the fist. This is Downs' top of the fist coin production. This is T. Nelson Downs' click pass. This is how the click pass works. Coins are spread out in the hand, so the bottommost coin is at the base of the ring finger. When the coins are chopped into the hand, the coins drop and they fall onto your ring finger. At the same time, the left hand acts as if the coins are caught. And when the hands are separated, the middle finger holds the bottommost coin in the stack, so this hand could be held relatively open in a curled position. When the left hand is shown empty, this hand could reproduce from behind the hand or from under your vest, spreads out the coins, and reproduces them for T. Nelson Downs' click pass. This is T. Nelson Downs' new fan pass. This is how the new fan pass works. Coins are spread out into a fan, and dropped and squared together into the left hand. The minute this happens, the second this happens rather, the thumb holds the packet of coins behind the right fingers. Now the important thing to remember is that when Downes did this, he didn't do this and pull the right hand away. Instead, Downes did this. He closed it, and the coins were still here, but he kept that hand motionless for a moment as this hand went away so that the eye followed this hand. Then he curled these fingers up and held the coins very lightly with a pinky down a little bit, and he showed the coins disappeared, and then he reached behind someone's vest or his lapel and he would reproduce the coins. I'll do it one more time. This is a very pretty sleight that most people don't quite understand how it works from the text. It's like that. Well, I'll do it again, and maybe I didn't do it so well that time. Here we go. Go like this, disappears, and then reappears like that. This is my personal technique for T. Nelson Downes' The New Fan Pass. Perhaps later I'll show you how it's done. This is T. Nelson Downes' palm and pass with 40 coins using 40 Norm Nielsen palming coins. Palm and pass with 40 coins. And now I'd like to explain T. Nelson Downes' palm and pass with 40 coins. Now these are 40 Norm Nielsen palming coins the size of silver dollars. T. Nelson Downes used to use the Rotterberg type palming coins, and later of course he had his own palming coins designed, but they're about the size of a $50. And keep in mind, T. Nelson Downes used to polish the surface of his coins, as I mentioned before, with an abrasive material called carborundum, which is really silicon carbide. And now you can do it with sandpaper, emery board, but you'd have to sand the coins down so that they become very slick. After all, there's certain sleights you wouldn't do with a deck of cards without fanning powder. Well, for this type of thing, it's actually best to grind down the face of the coins, but I have not done that. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But T. Nelson Downes would do this little turnover move, spread the coins out in the fingertip, middle finger would come up, turn the coins over. Sometimes he would kick it with the back of his thumb, but actually that works better if the coins are slick. Now this is the vanish. Left hand is cupped this way, right hand, the coins are touching the tip of your middle finger. And when the hand does that, the coins are just squeezed together into a pack and held by the middle finger. It's very counterintuitive when you look at it, because you just can't imagine that one finger is holding that many coins, but it is. Pull your hand away, show the coins disappear, and then to T. Nelson Downes, if he did this to a person, for instance, if he was showing it to somebody, he would do the move and then hand it to the coins to a person, and they showed the coins disappear, and he'd reach behind their collar or lapel and fan out the coins and show all the coins that I've reproduced. That's T. Nelson Downes' palm and pass with 40 coins. One of T. Nelson Downes' most famous moves was his Eureka Pass, in which he would make one coin after the other disappear. Like that. The Eureka Pass. The method from the Eureka Pass is seen from behind is like this. The coins are held in the left hand between the thumb and the index finger. When a coin is back palmed, with this hand, it is transferred from a back palm to a finger clip. As the hands come together, the middle and index finger grabs the coin and places it into the edge palm position. The edge palm position like this. So now, the right hand takes another coin, does a back palm, transfers it to a finger clip. This finger grabs the coin from the back palm and transfers it to the edge palm. And that is the Eureka Pass when using it as a vanish. Another way that T. Nelson Downes would use the Eureka Pass was as a coin production, in which one coin after the other will be produced and placed into the right hand. The Eureka Pass is a coin production. As seen from behind, the Eureka pass is performed like this. A stack of coins is held in the left hand in the edge palm position, while the right hand has a coin back palmed. When the coin is being produced in the back palm position, the middle and index finger of the right hand takes the coin out of the edge palm and balances the coin on the ring finger. As the right hand places the coin in between the left middle index finger and thumb, the ring finger places the coin into the back palm position. And this thing is repeated over and over for the Eureka palm as a production. When using the Eureka pass as a production, if T. Nelson Downs did not have enough coins secretly edge palmed in his left hand, he would simply take the coin in his right hand after it was produced and back palm the coin, and as the hands came together, he would make a clicking noise as if he added the coin from his right hand to his left. So, his ring finger would just pull the coins away from the other coins in the fan, and as this coin was back palmed, he made a snapping noise like that. T. Nelson Downs' ruse for the Eureka pass. Another move of Downs is to take the coins from the edge palm and add them to the fan one at a time, one-handed, like this. Seen from the other side, coins are held in the edge palm position, pulled up to the fingertip, and then added one at a time to the fan. T. Nelson Downs' method for adding coins from the edge palm to the fingertips in a fan. This is Roy Benson's Banished Coin Vanish. Banished. Before I explain Roy Benson's technique for his banished coin vanish, I'd like to discuss his use of the cigarette in the trick. To me, the cigarette usage reminds me of the use of the magician's wand. And in the book that was published in London in 1877, Edwin T. Sax's Sleight of Hand, Sax said something very interesting and very fundamental about the use of the magic wand. See, this is the real use of the magic wand and sleight of hand, which is thus. The wand will be found very useful. It should always be carried under the arm after the manner in which soldiers carry their canes. And when any palmed object, any palm has been affected, the coin has to remain concealed in the hand. The wand should be taken into the hand containing the coin. Beginners will find this of great assistance, for in the case of a somewhat defective palm, the coin can be pressed home by the clenched wand hard. Besides this, the fact of carrying a wand in the hand keeps the minds of the audience, keeps from the minds of the audience the idea of a coin being there, and the mind is what the conjurer has to deceive. Now, this is a very important rule in magic. You see, you have secondary objects like a wand because you're palming objects in your hand and you don't want people to realize that you have an object held there. Keep in mind, if you were to take a coin and make it disappear, if you take a coin, you do, let's say, a thumb palm, you make it disappear. Once you open this hand, there are people in the audience that will say, "Show me your other hand." But by having a wand in that hand, it helps deceive the mind from the idea that you have another object held in the other hand. Now, in the book Roy Benson by Starlight, I put together these 7 fundamental rules of stage magic. Rule number 3 was, when you palm an object on stage, there is just a tiny window of a few seconds in which you must either produce the object or add a visible object into the fingers of the hand. Now, this is important because this is a stage rule, not necessarily close-up. In close-up, you can have an object classic palmed in the hand. You can have your hand spread on the table. You can put your hand on someone's shoulder. You can keep your hand out of view just by blocking it with your body. It doesn't matter. But on stage, they see the totality of the performer. They see your whole body. So if you make something disappear, if it's not here, it's certainly here. And that's why stage magicians use a wand. Now, Roy Benson uses the same usage as the wand. He uses the cigarette. And one more thing, when you'll see my Miser's Dream routine at the end, you'll realize that, to my mind, the real usage of the bucket or the pail is it is the wand to my routine. In other words, that's what protects me from, when I palm objects, is the use of the bucket or the pail. In a moment, we're going to get back to the actual handling of Roy Benson's Banished. Roy Benson's Banished Coin Vanish first makes its appearance in the New Phoenix magazine, February 1954. And this is how it works. You have about a stack of coins, in this case 7 silver dollars, and a cigarette. Now we're going to forget the cigarette for a moment, and we're going to start with the coins. The first thing Roy Benson does is he does this juggling move where you flick coins into the air. And he does this to gain attention and to make to establish the sound that the coins make and to show that they're separate. Now, he has the coins laid out in the palm of his hand like this. All the while he has a cigarette. As he does the flicking move with the coins, he puffs the cigarette and blows it in the direction of the coins. Now we're going to get a close-up and look at the actual vanish. With the coins laid out in the palm of his hand, Roy Benson brings his left hand on top over the coins. So remember, the coins start out, by the way, from the base of the right fingers to the tip there. This hand comes over the base. The hand is brought up and down in this sort of motion. So just all it is that you're reorienting the coins so that they're in a perfect stack, and they make this little bit of noise. The minute the noise is made, this hand comes up with the coins hidden inside. I'm going to do this again. Hand comes up, makes the clinking noise, and the minute that happens, this hand comes up, and the coins are held in the finger palm position. Well, not really quite a finger palm, but they're clenched in the finger, and the little finger is squeezed into a tight circle. So this is almost like an illusionist thin table in a funny way, because hand is holding this huge stack of coins, but because these fingers are staggered, it just gives it the illusion that nothing could be hidden in that hand. So, once again, Roy Benson does the move. Let's try it again. Does this, and this hand comes up to get the cigarette. This hand, it helps, by the way, if you move your pinky inwards, your little finger in, like that. Because naturally, when you hold a stack like this, you would clench your pinky inwards inside to hold a stack like that. You wouldn't hold it like that. If you pick up a stack, your little finger comes in. So you do that, little finger comes in, and this hand immediately comes up and grabs the cigarette in the mouth. Now, this is done without hesitation. Benson just goes up and gets a cigarette in the mouth. So, here's the cigarette. The sound is made. This hand comes up and takes the cigarette and blows smoke on this hand. The cigarette is replaced to the mouth, and then this hand, the knee comes up, slaps, and shows the coins have disappeared, while this hand reaches forward with the coins in and does a sound, like you open and close your hand to make a sound of coins, and the coins are poured out to show that they transferred from one hand to the other. This is Roy Benson's Banished Coin Move. A very effective flourish for the stage performer is the coin roll, or the steeplechase, as Nate Leipzig used to call it. Very simple move. Thumb holds the coin between the thumb and the index finger. Index finger rolls it to the middle, then the middle rolls it to the ring finger and the pinky. The thumb takes the coin again from the base of the hand and just keeps rotating it through like this. Very effective. It's called the coin roll or the steeplechase. Another effective flourish for the stage performer is the 4-coin roll down, which works like this. 4 coins are placed between the thumb and the index finger. The fingers are staggered so that the middle finger moves in, and what happens is the hand drops 2 coins down to between the pinky and the ring finger. Middle finger stands in between these 2 coins, and the fingers open up, and you have a 4-coin roll down. An alternate method for the 4-coin roll down looks like this. How this works is holding 4 coins and then letting 3 coins go down in one group, and then separating this with this, and then showing the 4 coins like this. Now there's also a 5-coin roll down, which we'll show you in a second. 5-coin roll down looks like this. The 5-coin roll down is performed by placing 5 coins between the thumb and the index finger, performing a 4-coin roll down but retaining the last coin between the thumb and the finger and dropping it into place by the pinky. 5-coin roll down. Without question, the most entertaining part of the Miser's Dream is when you go into the audience and you produce coins from people's clothing or from their hair or from their beards or neckties or handkerchiefs. The thing to remember is that when you're not producing coins from the air and you're producing it from an object, there's certain rules. You can't produce a coin from a wall. You have to pull coins out of places where they look like they could be hidden. So if there's an object, a flower pot, you can reach in and take a coin out. You can reach behind it and take a coin out. But you can't take a flat surface and take a coin out because it just seems implausible. Now, there are some techniques to use to take coins from your person's clothing, which I'll show you in just a moment. The technique to produce coins from people's clothing or from objects is this. You hold a coin in your finger palm position, and then you push down, you put your thumb, and push the coin to your fingertips as you pull away like that. So if you have, say, an article of clothing here, what you do is you extend the fingers, push the coin to your fingertips, and pull away. So it looks like you're taking the coin from the article of clothing. Same thing if you have people, if you could do it with an open hand, if you could do a back palm, you can reach behind someone's cheek, for instance, and reach behind and then produce a coin like that. The other method, well actually the thing to keep in mind though, is that you can also do it with more than one coin, just for the record. So you can reach into people's clothing and take one coin, take a coin here, take a coin here. It's the same method that I showed you before. And the coins are just held here and then pushed to the fingertips as the hand pulls away. Fingertips as the hand pulls away. Now, there's one more technique that's a brilliant thing, but it was invented by Abe Cantu, and we'll show you that in a moment. The Cantu coin production works like this. You can take an object, say like a handkerchief, and shake it and one coin appears. You can grab someone's necktie. You can do it, one coin appears. You can borrow someone's eyeglasses, one coin appears. You take someone's object that a person has, let's say a book. You take a book, you can shake it out, one coin falls out, like that. In a moment I'll show you the exact technique that Abe Cantu invented. The Cantu coin technique works like this. The coins are held in a stack in a finger palm, typically held with the Ramsey subtlety, again be able to hold your hand out like this. Now when you grab an article of clothing or some object that a person has, you push the bottommost coin down. In other words, the coin that's closest to your thumb, you push it down. So that coin is separate from the rest of the coins, and it's only being held by the little finger or the ring finger or both. So you push down and now you hold that coin. So now you can just let go of that one coin. The thumb reloads, one coin is dropped. This allows you to drop one coin at a time. So if you have, say, a lady's handkerchief or you have someone's pair of gloves, you grab the you get ready. Before you pick up the object, you push this finger down, you grab the object and hold it over the bucket, and you give it a shake, and then you just let that one coin drop. You get ready, you get another object, you grab it, and then you let that one coin drop. And this is the Cantu multiple coin production from borrowed objects. Before we get to the technical handling of the Miser's Dream, or what I like to call bucket work, let's discuss the use of coin magic on stage. You know, I've seen a film of Charlie Miller doing a fantastic Miser's Dream routine, shot probably in the 1960s with a silent motion picture camera, with a film camera. And without sound, even though the camera was relatively close, you have no idea what he's doing. In other words, you don't know what the effect is. It looks like a person grasping in the air and supposedly dropping coins in a pail. I know Charlie Miller's routine, so I know what he's doing, but without the sound, it's very, very hard to follow. So the important thing to remember is that in stage magic, there's 4 basic ways in which something like a coin can be seen by the audience. The first way is sound. In other words, if you are dropping coins into a pail, if you were dropping coins into a pail, from the back of the house, if they hear the sound, the effect happens. If there is no sound, the audience doesn't perceive what you want them to perceive, which is that coins are appearing or being dropped into a pail. So sound is very, very important in any sort of coin magic. The other method to convey such a thing as a coin trick is a volunteer reaction. If you have secretly placed coins into a spectator's pocket and you tell them to reach in their pocket and they go into their pocket and they get the startled reaction, their startled reaction will project to the back of the house, and the spectators will react and laugh to that person's reaction. They don't have to see the coin, they just have to see the spectator's reaction. The other thing that is used in coin, like for something like coin magic, would be secondary reaction. Secondary reaction meaning that something else happens that they don't see the coin, but the coin makes something else happen so that the audience perceives the action. For instance, like if you were doing Vernon's coin and silk routine that Fred Capps used to do, if you take a coin and you go like this, the audience seeing this handkerchief jump is what will convey whether or not a coin has traveled there. The fourth way, of course, is technology. If you're working in a theater with close-up video cameras and big projectors, yes, you can do close-up magic on a large stage. But the key point is, the most important thing in the Mice's Dream is the sound. To me, if there isn't sound, then there isn't a magic trick. So next we're going to come up and I'm going to show you some techniques with the bucket, how the bucket is used for the Mice's Dream with the coins. And now we get to discuss the technical bucket or pail work. Now, in the July 1965 issue of Genie magazine, Charlie Miller made the wonderful suggestion. He said if you have a Mice's Dream bucket or pail, you should put some magic props in the pail. If that's provided that you don't open the magic act with the Mice's Dream, you should have some apparatus in there so that when you come out on stage, you can take some things out of it and it looks just like an ordinary receptacle and not just a piece of apparatus. So certainly before that, in the 1950s, my friend Paul Potassi used to do exactly that. He had a champagne bucket and he uses it throughout his act, and he also did at one time do the Mice's Dream with a champagne bucket or a pail. Now, most of the demonstrations we'll show you is with this pail that I got at Target stores. They're inexpensive. This is inexpensive. It's like $15. Although in my own show, all the pails that I always use have these round handles. And later when I show you my Mice's Dream routine, you'll understand why I always have a round handle on the side. Now, the central deception of the Mice's Dream, the key idea of the trick, dating back to a couple of hundred years, is that you have a container, and in the left hand, which holds the container, has a stack of coins hidden inside. The right hand has a single coin, and as the right hand makes it appear as though that the right hand is dropping the coin into the receptacle, the left hand actually drops one of the coins that's held in reserve in the left hand, while the right hand retains the coins in a palm position or some other manner. Now that is the central deception of the Mice's Dream. Now we're going to show you the basic technique. It varies depending on how you hold, how you hold what type of bucket that you use. The old timers, when they held the Mice's Dream, they actually held the coins sideways like this, and then dropped the coins. In other words, the coins were held in a stack, in a hat, sideways like this, sideways like that. In current use, of course, I don't know any magician that uses a hat still for this trick. So we hold a bucket like this, and then we drop. We make the sound of the coins falling into the bucket appear like that. See? Now, I'm going to show you how to hold the coins in the pail. Here's a little plastic bucket which I cut in half to make it easy for you to see how this works. The idea is you take the coins and place them in the palm of your hand like this, so that they start from the tip of your hand and roll back out this way. Do you understand? So that's from the tip, they roll this way. And they are placed inside the pail like this. So if you could see through the hands, the coins are stacked here. and the middle finger pushes out a coin, and that's how the coins are distributed. Now, a lot of times a good tip is to, if you're not using a clear bucket and if you have time, it's a good idea to sort of like, as Erdnase would say, change the moment. You can actually get the coin at the very tip of your finger so there's very little movement. So when you need it to have the sound, you can do that. So notice you don't have to do that quickly. You could just, while you're misdirecting the audience, just get your fingertip there and then drop the coin. Now, again, the proper way to do this is to hold the stack this way and push the coin to that. So notice you start at the fingertips and you move the coins back. This makes it easier because the bottommost coin here is next to your finger, and as you feed off each coin, it makes it easier to drop into the pail. Now, I said it's a correct way, but you can also do it the other way, which is start at your fingertips and roll it this way. But it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I'll tell you, one of my favorite magicians is John Carney, and in his Book of Secrets, John actually does it backwards. He does it the wrong way, and he does a fantastic Miser's Dream. So if you want, you can learn both methods. You can do it the wrong way and feed coins. This is the wrong way, feeding coins. Or you could do it the right way, supposedly the quote-unquote right way, and feed the coins like this. It might be a good idea to learn both methods, because what if you're in a hurry on stage and something happens, the coins get shifted? You can, if you can do it in either way, you'll always come out on top. So that's the technique. You put the coins in the fingertips, and then you place the bucket on top of your hand, and now you can feed the coins one at a time like this. Now, timing is important. Charlie Miller said that when you palm a coin, let's get a coin here. Let's say I was thumb palming a coin. He said the coin should make its appearance. In other words, you should, when you make a coin and you do a thumb palm, when your hand gets to about here is when you should drop that coin. So it comes here. So it doesn't happen, it just happens like that. So you have a coin, thumb palm, like that. That's Charlie Miller's suggestion, and it is a good suggestion, but there are some other thoughts to this. And this is it. Now, Roy Benson had an idea, and I'm going to demonstrate this to you. I'm going to get a sheet of paper. Now, let's say this is a wastebasket, and it's sitting off to the side someplace. There's a wastebasket. So let me move this table up here so you can get a better view. There's a wastebasket. So now I'm going to crumple this paper ball, crumple it up, and I'm going to toss it into a wastebasket. Now, how do people drop items into a trash? Do they go like this? I've never in my life seen anyone take a piece of something and put it in a container with their hand into the container. Truth is, you take the item and you put it just above the container. And this is a brilliant observation that Roy Benson made, so that when he did the Miser's Dream, he discovered that it's not, let me get the coins in the correct position. He discovered that when you take the coins and you put them into the pail, you don't have to do that. It actually looks more real if you do it here. Look. See, they don't have to see. In other words, coins are so thin and small, on a stage distance, you have a tough time seeing them. The only way you really see a coin is if you do what the magician Tommy Martin did in vaudeville, which is hold the coin in your fingertips and you shake it. You actually hold it in your fingertips and you shake. So if you're on a big stage and you take a coin and you do that, that helps people see it. But look, you can take a coin and it fools the mind. Look, you take a coin from this height, look. Take a coin, just like that. Now, I have one little tip for you to help you in terms of the timing with the coin bucket, and this is my tip. When you practice it this way, take a real coin and drop it into the bucket, and when you do that, let go of the other coin at the same time. So, the reason you do it, you drop one from the left hand and one from the right hand. You do this for timing, because if the timing is off, if you do this, then you're making a mistake. Which reminds me of something that Roy Benson used to love to do. Roy Benson used to love to do the Miser's Dream for magicians, and he used to do it like this. He used to take a coin and go, and then he'd produce a coin, and then, he'd produce a coin, and he would do that as a joke, but try not to do a Miser's Dream like that. Now, I'll give you one more tip, a technical tip. When you have the coins in your hand like this, now we're going to get to the actual handling of the coins into the bucket in a minute. But when you get a coin into the edge of the pail, sometimes they can hear the coins making noise. Okay, so this is a couple of things you could do. You can take a great gray piece of felt colored in gray, cut a little square, and just glue it to the side of the pail that you're going to use so that it muffles the sound of the coins hitting the side of the pail. Okay, like for instance in this bucket here, it's all black velvet in here, and when you put that in, I can rub the coins, look, and make hardly any noise because there's black velvet inside this pail. So you put a little gray fabric so it matches the silver pail, or golden fabric if it matches a gold pail or brass, and it helps absorb some of the sound. Also, when you put your hand, when you have the coins here and you put your hand on top, you don't be in such a rush to put the coins up against the edge of the pail. You can just hold your hand lightly there, and as you talk to the audience, you can slowly get your hand moving closer and closer to the pail so it makes less noise. Furthermore, you can camouflage the sound of the coins hitting the side of the pail. For instance, you can talk, say, look, see that beautiful pail? Now, while I'm hitting the pail or flicking it, it helps mask the sound of the coins touching the side of the pail. So those are a couple of tips that I hope you think is useful for the Miser's Dream. Now, next thing that we're going to get to in just a moment is what I call a gambit. It's usually in chess parlance. It means it's making a move in which there is some risk involved. And that move is some risk involved in order to gain an advantage. And what I call is something, the Miser's Gambit. The Miser's Gambit is basically the move that gets you from holding the object in your hand and connecting it to, in other words, getting the coins from the hand into the bucket, getting the other coin into the other hand, getting prepared for the trick, starting the trick and ending the trick. That concept of how you get started with the trick is what I call the Miser's Gambit. So in other words, there is some risk in holding some coins in the hand and getting them in the bucket and starting the trick, but the advantage is that you have a wonderful magic illusion. And this is what I call the Miser's Gambit. It's just the term that I use, and as we get along with this DVD, you'll see that I'll explain different versions of the trick as performed throughout history, so you can understand the thinking behind the different gambits, the different ways these magicians got the routine started, progressed through the routine, and how they finished the routine. So that's kind of important, the Miser's Gambit, and why it's important is basically something that reminds me of something that Di Vernon said. This, by the way, is a wonderful book I've mentioned before on all my other videos, The Vernon Touch, and it's the writings of Di Vernon in Genie magazine from 1968 to 1991. And in the June 1969 issue of Genie, Di Vernon talks about something in which he says how Cardini, whenever Di Vernon would show the great Cardini a move, a sleight of hand move, say with a deck of cards, Cardini would always ask, well, how do I get into that move? I mean, the move's pretty, but how do you get into it? See, this is fundamental to professional magic. For instance, let's say we'll do a crazy coin move, okay? Let's say I have three coins, and I put one coin in the classic palm, and I put one coin in the back palm, and I put one coin in the downs palm. So now I can produce one coin this way, show my fingers, and produce that coin there. Well, maybe if you're squinting with one eye and you're showing it to a video camera on a TV thing or something, it would work. But how on earth are you going to get coins into that position? Back palm, downs palm, and classic palm, or an edge palm. Well, the fact is you can't do that. You can't do it unless you're performing on stage and telling the audience, okay, everybody, close your eyes, I'm going to do something. You get ready, you say, everybody open your eyes, now I'm going to do a trick. Magic, professional magic entertainment doesn't work that way. And that's why the gambits are important here. How people got into the routine from the beginning, how they progress through the routine, and how they get out clean. And so I hope this up to this point, the DVD has been helpful. But next we're going to get into the specific routines of the masters of magic dating back to the old school. So please stand by for the rest of my ultimate guide to the Miser's Dream. Before we continue, I'd like to add one more thought. Some of you who have read my book, Roy Benson by Starlight, would remember that I had the 7 fundamental rules of stage magic. Well, while working on this DVD, I've come up with another rule, and rule number 8. So it's not just 7 rules, there's an 8th rule. And the 8th rule is, when performing a repetitious effect, it is far more deceptive if you vary your methods. Okay, when performing a repetitious effect, it is far more deceptive if you vary your methods. So keep that in mind, as the Mice's Dream is a repetitious effect. And as you'll see, as the greats had performed this wonderful magic effect, it just wasn't a case of just thumb palming a coin and repeating the same move over and over. They had certain gambits, certain moves and techniques in which they changed the way they do the trick across the routine to help make it more deceptive. So just please keep that in mind. We have a fundamental rule of magic number 8. So we'll see you in another moment.